Hi, my name is Clay, and welcome to U.S. Maritime Action. Today, we're going to talk about what kinds of ships are built in the U.S. and why there might be a problem with the types of ships and the distribution of what types of ships that we build.
So you can see at the top of our tiers, we have nuclear submarines and aircraft carriers, followed by other types of warships, and some things which are difficult to construct, like icebreakers. As we go down, we decrease in cost and complexity to more like cruise ships, LNG carriers, to full-on commercial bulkers and tankers and what have you. And at the bottom is our barges and river ships. So this is my own self-made graph just based on data in my head, just to give you a rough idea of the number of each vessel type that is built in the US. So we're actually pretty good, at building submarines, destroyers. Every so often we get another flat top, either a carrier or an amphib. We're much weaker, I think, in the trading sector in commercial ships. We don't really do bulkers, container ships, tankers. I think those should be a much higher volume produced ship compared to, your warships. As far as who's building ships in America, you can kind of see that General Dynamics and Huntington Ingalls. Huntington Ingalls is composed of Newport News Shipbuilding and Ingalls Shipbuilding. They're shown in the top tier. Those two companies, conglomerates, are capturing most of the military shipbuilding. Then you have some other players like Austal, Fincantieri, doing some military work. And then really kind of the two big Jones Act commercial yards are General Dynamics NASSCO and Hanwha Philly. But really NASSCO now is focused more on Navy auxiliaries rather than true commercial ships for companies like Crowley or Paisha. Don't know if I got the pronunciation right. And then you have barge builders like Heartland Fabrication and Arcosa. They're really cranking out barges each year. I believe Heartland launches a barge almost every other day. Then there are some yards like Bollinger that are building like lower end tugs all the way up through contracts like the Polar Icebreaker, probably their premier contract right now. A lot of the concern from shipbuilding has come from the fact that China is able to outbuild us to a substantial scale. And this is kind of shown here in the order books. It reflects the future builds of each country, and you can see China is dominating, especially in terms of tonnage. China builds ships across the spectrum, whereas Korea is kind of targeted in gas carriers, tankers, and container ships. Japan is specialized in bulkers, while in Europe they do a lot of cruise ships, and then the rest of the world is mixed. This slide shows the gross tonnage orders for each year. It's just shown to highlight that shipbuilding is a pretty volatile market, and demand for different vessel types fluctuates pretty significantly from year to year. Comparing the original graph from GCaptain and also this Congressional Research Service report, these two kind of really highlight what an insignificant role the U.S. currently has in commercial ship production. As you can see, our numbers compared to China, South Korea, and even Europe are very, very low. In summary, the U.S. doesn't build many commercial ships, and it's not competitive in the global shipbuilding market for any commercial vessel types. The U.S. has decent warship production. We are falling behind schedule, but overall, I would say our country produces a fair number of high-end warships. Barge and tug production is still healthy in the U.S. and has a pretty significant market. I think that's something that not a lot of people are aware of. So why this structure is problematic is due to the fact that we are very reliant on other countries' ship productions for importing and exporting goods to the United States. And in the event of some sort of conflict, the military ultimately relies on a lot of merchant-type ships to transport goods and war material. Thanks for tuning into U.S. Maritime Action. I hope you found this content useful. Please feel free to comment below.